Welcome back to Black Swan Outdoors, and a continuation of a test of desktop talks of different antenna designs that you can build for different purposes out in the field. So this is another hasty field antenna based off of our antenna kit. If you didn't see that video, check that out before. Check that out because we talk about some of the components that are in that kit for the different antennas that you can build. Today we're going to talk about building a loop antenna. This is another very, very simple, easy and cheap antenna to build, and something that you can create in the field as needed. So all you really need is a piece of wire cut to frequency. This one particular, I believe, is cut to UHF. So there's about 9 inches. No, it's VHF. I'll add the correction below. I don't know what I'm talking about. So this is about 9 inches. The entire antenna is 18 inches in total length. For wire is what you need. And then you need the split post connector. And then I use the little shrink wrap here, which is not necessary, but can be helpful. So to build the antenna, we're just going to build it just like we did the dipole, in the sense that you're going to stick 2 pieces of wire on both sides of your split post connector. And then, being that this is a loop antenna, we need to form a loop. So I'm going to use, I like the sturdy wire to do this. You can use the solid core wire too, or the stranded wire, but it's not going to hold its shape as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and make a loop. Now when the 2 wires come together for this loop, there needs to be a little bit of an air gap in between. So this is where that shrink wrap comes in. So I have just one side is melted on here, and I'm going to take the other side of that wire. I'm going to put that right into this sleeve, and I'm going to push it back, and just so I can create just a bit of an air gap between, that's going to hold that antenna. Now I could certainly I could melt this and make it more permanent, but I want to make this antenna more mobile, so I want to keep it separate, keep the 2 lines separate. Then all I have to do is just attach this directly to my radio, and I can use any kind of adapter for the BNC to SMA, BMC female to SMA adapter, then right to my radio, and voila, I've now got a loop antenna. Now these loop antennas are kind of cool. They're not super strong. It's not going to do great. That's good for receiving, not so much for transmitting. These are great for signal hunting. So if you're trying to find the direction of another person's radio signal, you can use this as a directional antenna. Lots of amateur radio enthusiasts use this style of antenna for what's called fox hunting, looking for signals of either other users or of transmitters that are hidden, and then they go after and try to find them. The key to get this thing to work, and to make this thing work, is actually to hold this antenna close to your body. Many different types of antennas, like the antennas in the hearing aids and different types of devices, use loop style antennas because they're very, very close to the body. The closer to the body it is, the better it's going to operate. So this is not an antenna that you're going to hoist up into a field or up into a tree or hold out in front of you. You want to keep this fairly close to your body and keep it directional, moving your body and the antenna to capture signals. But it's very lightweight. It's very discrete. Some of the larger directional antennas are much more much larger and harder to keep discrete, in particular in an urban area. Whereas a loop antenna is going to be a little easier to use. Little fun fact: similar style antennas were used for radio direction finding by the Nazis, looking for partisans signaling out and organizing resistance. And signaling back to England. And so they were able to use this style of antenna and actually hide them in their trench coats, the long trench coats that they would wear, so they could be walking around with a radio and in public and not be seen. So it's kind of a little fun fact of history with this loop style antenna. If you got any questions or comments, throw them down below. Again, if you want to learn about this antenna and these others, we're doing a whole antenna series, and you can pick up our field guide to antennas as well, to have something with you out in the field for building antennas. Thanks again, like and subscribe, and continue on with the series.